Здравствуйте.
Hello, my name is Baleva Angelica, born in 1971. At the moment I live in the Republic of Cyprus and am a citizen of the Republic of Cyprus. I became acquainted with the teaching of Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi in 2004, and to this day I continue to actively use and study the works of Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi in my daily life and achieve certain results, which I receive as a result of constant systematic work on studying audiometrics, video materials, lectures, seminars of Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi, and using the device for developing concentration PRK1U3 mode, configured according to the medical profile. Allow me, please, to acquaint you with one of my testimonies on the results of applying the methods of the teaching of Grigori Grabovoi using the device for developing the concentration of eternal life PRK1U3 mode, configured according to the medical profile. The content of the testimonies is as follows. A woman named Claire, born in 1976, living in England. Since childhood, from the age of 5, she observed a condition that resembled a serious blood disease. For a long time, the woman was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. She did not receive any treatment, but periodically underwent annual examinations by doctors. Her condition progressed for the worse. So, in 2021, doctors told the woman that for the past 9 years, when she began to notice a deterioration in her health, doctors had been giving her erroneous diagnoses all the time, and that according to the latest results of her examination, her condition resembles hairy cell leukemia. This is one of the rarest oncological blood diseases, which occurs in 1.5% of 100,000 of the population. The doctors also told the woman that at the moment and in general, chemotherapy is contraindicated for her, and that doctors can do nothing, and, unfortunately, cannot help her in any way. March 11, 2021, the first day of my work to help Claire using the knowledge of the teachings of Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi. Since March 11, I began working on the PRK1U control device to help the woman. I worked from 18:00–19:30 local time on this day and from 21:30 to 23 o'clock local time with numerical series from the work of Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi, recovery of man's matter by concentration on number rows. Из труда Григория Петровича Грабового «Восстановление материи человека числовыми концентрациями». I worked according to figures 1, 2, and 3 from the second volume of the book. On March 12, 2021, I continued working from 13:00–14:30 local time. I used the method from Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi's lecture, The Teaching of Grigori Grabovoi About God. Control of the known information to ensure eternal life for the purpose of curing Claire from hairy cell leukemia. The work was carried out on the third control device PRK1U. On March 11 and 12, 2021, I worked with a woman at the request of her mother, who lives near me in Cyprus. In total, over the course of 2 days, I worked with the woman for 4.5 hours, which was 3 1.5-hour concentrations. In the evening of March 12, 2021, the woman's mother said that her daughter was currently somewhat cold about the possibility of helping her with the methods of the teachings of Grigori Grabovoi, since she was given a special prayer for healing in the mosque, and she needs to pray all day. The woman converted to Islam not so long ago. Thus, after 2 days of intensive work with the woman, I stopped working with her due to her lack of desire. After 8 days, Claire herself turned to me for help. On March 20, 2021, in her phone call from England, where she now lives, she said that she began to feel much better, and one could even say well, and therefore asks for my help. On the same day, March 20, 2021, I met with the woman's mother. She is a Catholic by faith, and told her about the methods of concentration described in the work of Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi, Recovery of Man's Matter by Concentration on Number Rows, and recommended that she purchase these books in English through the Amazon online store. I also provided the woman with all the necessary information about the educational center of Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi. Thus, on March 20, 2021, I resumed my work to help Claire at her request and at the request of her mother. The work continued via video transmission of the third control device PRK1U. From 1800 to 1830, local time, the first goal that was set during the work at this specified time was the resurrection, healing, regeneration and restoration of the absolute norm of the atomic molecular cellular structure and functioning of all tissues, organs, systems, biological fluids and the entire body as a whole of Claire to ensure eternal life for her and everyone at the same time. On the same day, from 2240 to 019 local time, work continued on the second goal, the norm of the hematopoietic system and Claire's immune defense to ensure eternal life for her and everyone at the same time. The method that was used when working with the device was rotating the gaze along the lenses of the device. Additionally, for the second goal, I used the method from the lecture by Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi, The Teaching of Grigori Grabovoi About God. Control of the known information to ensure eternal life, dated July 7, 2016. On March 21, 2021, from 1305 to 1449 local time, I worked through all the rows from the book Recovery of Man's Matter by Concentration on Number Rows, which are attached to figure number 2, central organs of hematopoiesis and immune defense, red bone marrow. These are the rows from the second volume of this book. And at the same time, I continued to apply the method from the work of Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi, The Teaching of Grigori Grabovoi About God. Control of the known information to ensure eternal life. From 1656 to 1824 and from 2303 to 2341, Claire continued to help formulate the general task, ensuring eternal life for everyone. On March 22, 2021, on the control device PRK1U from 1340 to 1415, work continued on the restoration and development of the norm of red hematopoietic bone marrow of Claire. March 23, 2021, the work was carried out from 1710 to 1810, the second time, from 2210 to 2255 also on the control device PRK1U for Claire. In addition, the method given by Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi in the book The Resurrection of People and Eternal Life from Now on is Our Reality was used as series for resolution 2145432 for the test that was voiced above. Resurrection, healing, regeneration and complete restoration of Claire's physical body. March 24, 2021. Work was from 1640 to 1740, from 2210 to 23 March 30, 2021. Worked from 1305 to 1414, from 1700 to 1740 on PRK1U, control device number 2. As a result of daily work, I am getting an intermediate result so far. So, on March 25, 2021, an intermediate result was received. I met with Claire's mother. Her daughter writes to her mother in her daily text messages that she feels much better. There is fatigue, but not as strong as before. Mom said that she will order books by Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi through the Amazon website. Claire herself, according to her mother, was previously closed to perceiving information about the teaching. Now, to her mother's surprise, Claire very calmly agrees with all of her mother's explanations about the need for independent work using the methods of the teachings of Grigori Grabovoi. On March 27, 2021, I worked with a woman on the third control device PRK1U from 1925 to 2110, and the second time from 22 o'clock to 23 March 25, 2021. I also worked on the third control device from 1925 to 20 March 2950, 2021. I worked from 1340 to 1515, the second time, from 1600 to 1720, the third time, from 1800 to 1930, the fourth time from 2230 to 0000. Interim result, according to Sheila, Claire's mother, who said that today, March 29, her daughter in a telephone conversation with her from England to Cyprus said that she had a huge amount of energy today. Please note that this woman has been suffering since childhood. And especially for the last 9 years she has been constantly tired due to the basic condition of her body. And for the first time in her entire life, Claire notes that she had such a huge amount of energy. March 30, 2021, from 1800 to 2000, from 2230 to 2340, I worked with a woman and additionally worked through the number series from the book Recovery of Man's Matter by Concentration on Number Rows, Volume 2, number series for figures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Intermediate result, today, March 30, 2021, Claire woke up earlier than usual in the morning, full of strength and energy, and felt good after waking up. April 3, 2021, intermediate result, according to Claire's mother, her daughter began to concentrate on digital rows on her own. April 6, 2021, The work was supplemented with rows to figures 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 from pages 12 to 14 from the second volume of the book Recovery of Man's Matter by Concentration on Number Rows. The work was carried out on the control PRK1U, the third. Result, intermediate, from April 6. Today was the first day when Claire's mother began to independently conduct her concentrations on the broadcast of the control device. At her request, she was given this opportunity. The woman is simply delighted. She notes changes in the small lens and in general the glow from the device, which was simply unreal during her concentration. April 7, 2021. Interim result, Sheila, Claire's mother, after feeling contact with the light of the matter of eternal life that the device generates, began to increase the time and duration of her concentrations. She is simply delighted with her sensations and the glow emanating from the device. The woman said that she will never stop working with the device and will constantly evolve. April 11, 2021. Considering that the woman's mother and she herself are getting involved in the work, I, after working through all the necessary rows on the organs of hematopoiesis and immune defense according to the book, will reduce the number and time of my concentrations on helping the woman. However, I will continue to work with her on general tasks, on the norm of health and the norm of events, on the implementation of the principle of immortality to ensure eternal life for her and everyone at the same time. In addition, on April 9, 2021, after I purchased the book The Numerical Atlas of Creation of Man and Eternal Life, all 3 volumes, I began to work through the number series from Part 1, 9-2948183198, of the Numerical Atlas of Creation of Man and Eternal Life, created by Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi in 2006. I work with one of the methods described in the introduction. I work both for myself and my family, and for Claire and her mother. By the way, today, April 11, 2021, Sheila, the woman's mother, said that for the last 3 days she has no longer had pain in her knees, which had tormented her for a long time. This is a good result of both my and her work with the device. Unfortunately, primary medical records and medical reports from doctors in England cannot be provided to write the final report, either by me or the woman herself, for many reasons. The English healthcare system does not provide such patients with the results of the woman's most recent examinations due to confidentiality, and a number of other reasons. Oncologists discuss the results of her examinations among themselves and do not even have the right to inform the attending physician, who has been observing her all her life with erroneous diagnoses. The situation with visiting doctors is currently complicated by quarantine measures related to the coronavirus. So I hope that they will be able to undergo an examination at least in the summer, receive the results in hand and issue a video certificate of achieving the health standard. The main thing at the moment is that the woman has come to life, feels well, is full of strength, energy, and she has a great desire to study the works of Grigori Petrovich Grabovoi to standardize health, events and ensure eternal life for herself and everyone at the same time. I give my consent to the publication and use of this certificate for scientific and educational purposes. I authorize the publication of my personal data in this certificate. Thank you very much for your attention.